Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Snyder. Thank you so much for choosing my professional development session on Google Meet. I promise to do my best to help you develop professionally, and hopefully you'll have some fun, be entertained, and learn a few tricks along the way. So let's get started. I'm going to outline our agenda for today, but I wanted to give this video a really catchy name. So, may I present to you Professional Development, Google Meet, featuring cute animals wearing hats. Okay, now on with the show. Today we're going to cover basic functions of Google Meet, creating a meeting, sharing your screen. Trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds. Awesome things you can do while sharing your screen. Extensions to really step up your Meet game. Your friends will be so impressed. And anything else I can think of that is cool, cute, entertaining, or neat. All right, let's do this. I'm going to give you a brief overview of Google. Anytime anyone is having any trouble with Google or any of its applications, I advise them to go to this page, just google.com. You'll notice up in the right-hand corner, there is a picture. This is the picture I've selected for my work account. So anytime I see that picture up there, I know that I am signed into the correct account. So I will be able to access all of my YCUSD applications and documents. Next to the profile picture, there is a shape with 9 squares. It is also known as a waffle. If you click on that, it will show you all of your Google applications. In this instance, we're going to be using Google Meet, which is right here. If the app you are wanting is not immediately visible, you can scroll down. But for now, Google Meet is right here, so we're going to click on it. Now that we're on the Google Meet site, you can click here to join or start a meeting. If you are given the name of a meeting, you can type it here. If you would like to name your meeting, you can also put it here, but it's not necessary. We're not going to do that today, so I'm just going to click continue. Okay, so that brings us to this screen, and you'll just be looking at yourself. You have not entered the meeting yet. You need to click join now for that. Since we're here and we have some time, I'd like to discuss video conferencing etiquette. Here are some Google Meet etiquette tips. Be on time. Keep yourself muted when not speaking. Consider your presentation, your background, attire, etc. Use headphones or earbuds when possible to avoid feedback and echoes. So for the rest of this presentation, I am going to click here, which is going to turn off my camera. I'm going to show you the default settings for Google Meet before we add the fun extensions. Here we have the 5 people in our Meet. There's 4 people and myself. Starting clockwise from the top, this is the user menu. When you click here, it'll tell who is in the Meet. This is the chat area, so anyone who does not have a microphone or would like to ask a question without unmuting themselves, they can type it here and it'll pop up for everyone to see. The chat window is also accessible here. We'll start with the 3 dots at the end. This is more options. You can change your screen layout. You can go to full screen, turn on captions, use phone for audio, settings. This is going to be an important thing to remember. If your microphone ever doesn't work, you'll need to go into the more options, go into settings, and make sure the correct microphone is selected and the correct speakers. And you can do a test. If your video is not working, make sure that the correct camera is selected My camera is showing as off because that was what I selected whenever I went into the Meet. You can also control that down here. So right now, in this particular profile, I have myself muted, so that's why there was no microphone, and I have my camera off, so that's why there's no camera. But if you ever have an issue where your sound or your video is not working, always go to More Options, Settings, right there. And next is Present Now. When you click that, it allows you to share your screen. Your options are share your entire screen, share a window, or share a tab. And I will go into this a little bit later with some really cool stuff you can do. And then here we have to turn your camera off and on. This is to leave the call. If you click this, you will leave the meet. This is the mute button. And here are the meeting details. If you need to give someone the information so they can get to this meet, you can just send them this link in their email, in a text, however you choose to communicate with them. You can also just click copy joining info and paste it into an email. Okay, I've created a Google Meet and I have 4 participants and myself. This is the default view. With that being said, I'm going to start discussing the Google Meet features, bells, and whistles. The first thing I'm going to discuss is the Google Grid View extension. It's up here and it looks like a little checkerboard. Currently, there's a line through it so that you know that it is not active. I'm going to click on that so I can activate the extension. And here are our options. We can choose to have ourselves included in the grid. Okay, so you can see that I am now in the grid. You can select to only show participants that have video. You can select to enable grid view by default. So as soon as you pop into a Google Meet, it'll automatically be on. I'll go ahead and select that. You can use enable screen capture mode, and that makes it easier to take screenshots, and it hides everyone's name. At this point, I'd like to make a preface by saying Google is constantly improving its products, especially since the COVID crisis. They've been working overtime to make their products more accessible, flexible, and helpful to the education community. Grid View is an option that was originally only available on Zoom. But since users really liked it, someone made this extension so that Google Meet could do the same thing. But unfortunately, because Google is constantly improving its products, codes are changed, so it's common that these third-party extensions break. It's fine. If you find that you no longer have access to Grid View, we'll just have to find an extension that currently works with the program. It's not a perfect system, but as times change, these products are a living, changing being, so it helps to be open-minded and flexible. Just because something worked last week, it may not work this week. It's okay, just find something that works today. It's all in the name of progress. On the bright side, I do know that Google is working to make Grid View part of the regular options. So someday soon, you won't have to worry about having an extension that works. So now you can join the many geeks in the world that sit on the edge of our seats waiting for release notes so we can see what changes are being constantly made to the products that we use every day. The next extension I'm going to show you is a fairly new concept and one that I think you're really going to like. It's called Meet Attendance, and it allows you to take attendance and automatically record who is in your Google Meet in a spreadsheet. This is one of the extensions that I will be showing you how to install later. This is not the most user-friendly extension, so I'm going to walk you through it. Also, please note this is a manual process, so attendance will not be taken unless you remember to take it. To access the attendance tool, click on the user menu at the top of your screen. This icon in the middle that looks like a clipboard is your options for the attendance tool. When you mouse over, it brings up your options. This first option is to add a tab to an extending spreadsheet you already have. This is to create an entirely new spreadsheet. This toggle is the on-off switch. When it's gray, it's off, and when it's green, it's on. If you ever have an issue where your attendance is not being recorded, that would be the first thing I would advise you to check. This last toggle allows Meet attendance to scroll through the list of users in your Meet. That way it can do an accurate record of who is in attendance. I would leave that on. So in order to take attendance, you click on the user menu, and that's it. You've just taken attendance. And let's say we're going along and some people have come in, some people have gone out. We open that up and we've just taken attendance again. And same thing, we just did it again. It's super easy. It's just you need to remember to click that button. And we just did it again. So to view your spreadsheet, just click on the clipboard icon. And you'll see here, all of those times that I was just clicking, it went ahead and it recorded who was in the Meet at that time. One of the options is to add a new tab. Let's go ahead and do that. So because I just clicked that, it added a new tab to the spreadsheet I've already been using. So let me close this, and I'll take attendance a few more times just to show you that it will populate on the new tab. Okay, I still have the attendance open, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see down here it added a new tab, and it has the date and the time. So I'm going to click on my new tab, and there we go. There's the 3 times I just took attendance. And you can rename these. You know, you can rename this to English period 1 and English period 2, and whatever you need that would make it easy for you to access this information later. The next extension I'm going to show you is called Nod. You may have seen it up here at the top of my screen. This is a way that students can communicate to their teachers non-verbally. This is really helpful to avoid people unmuting their mics and talking over each other, so you can maintain control of the classroom. There's a thumbs up option, and under that, you have a thumbs up, thumbs down, clapping, waving, partying, and laughing. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. And only people who have this extension installed will be able to see these communications. The hand raise will stay raised until it's cleared. So I'm going to show you what it would look like for a student who's communicating with you. Let's say I just told an exceptionally funny joke. I can receive feedback, and feedback is always appreciated. My student has a question. I'm going to continue with what I'm discussing, and when I come to the end, at that point, I can say, Nikki, why don't you type your question in the chat field, in which case it would appear here. I can say, Nikki, why don't you unmute yourself and ask your question now? You can also ask for student participation with the thumbs up. Do you understand? Is anyone having problems? Yes, Nikki understands. This is also a way to have interaction with your students. You can ask questions and they can answer it in a non-verbal way. Does everyone understand what I just said? Yes. There's going to be a test on Friday. No. Hey everyone, there's going to be a pop quiz on Friday. Apparently Nikki didn't like that. It's a way that you can get your students to participate in a nonverbal way so you are able to maintain control of your classroom. Now I'm going to show you how you can integrate Google Meet into your Google Classroom. In my opinion, this is one of the best things about Google Meet versus Zoom. I'm going to go into my classroom, and right here, right away, you can see it gives you the option to generate a Meet link. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click Generate Meet Link and save. So now any student who comes into my classroom will be able to go into my Meet. Now that we've created this Meet link on our classroom, we can always use that link to meet with our class. That way, our students know that every day at a set time, I will be in that Google Meet. There is a built-in security feature that will not allow students to access your Google Meet unless you are in there already. It is important to remember that you need to make sure the students have been removed from the Meet before you leave so they will not be unsupervised. This next little bit involves a lot of talking. So here are pictures of cute animals and hats. The saying, necessity is the mother of invention, has proven especially true in the light of the COVID crisis. Teachers all over the world are coming up with creative, new ways to teach, inspire, connect, and relate to their students. Almost anything you could possibly want to do with distance learning has already been thought of and documented. With a simple Google search, you will be inundated with tons of inspiration of how to accomplish your goals. YCUSD has some pretty amazingly creative staff, and I am working with them to put their ideas in a central location so we can all benefit and share the creative wealth. So one obvious problem that teachers ran into last March was, how am I supposed to teach without a whiteboard? I'm going to show you one solution that works in conjunction with Google Meet. Google has an application called Jamboard, which is an interactive whiteboard program. I'm going to go up here to my waffle and scroll down a little bit, and there's Jamboard. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and I created a Jamboard earlier today. And this is kind of a twofer because I wanted to show you Jamboard, but I also wanted to show you this. It's kind of a fad going on with teachers right now where they create a virtual space or classroom for their students using the Bitmojis. That is also an extension you can get for Google. I'm not going to go into that because it doesn't have to do with Google Meet, but I just wanted to inspire you to get out there and see what's available and what's fun, and to inspire your kids and to really encourage them in this very difficult time. You can see up here I've created 4 frames. I've queued up some worksheets so that I could show you how this works. It's a pretty simple application. You have pins here, there's an eraser, there's the select tool to move things around. You can put a sticky note, you can add an image, and you have a laser pointer. So I uploaded these generic worksheets so that I could show how you could interact with your students about an assignment. So you can pick different colors. That is my favorite color. I'm going to go with that. And so I'm teaching the class, and we're going to fill in the numbers. So the first number is 1, and the second number is 2, and then I'm just going to draw that with my mouse, and 3 and 4. So that is super, super easy. This probably wasn't the best worksheet because in this situation you would want to go all the way down before going to the higher numbers. But just to show you what was possible, I have the second half of the worksheet down here so that I would be able to show you this. But the laser pointer, you can show them where things are and it disappears. If you wanted to show them a map or show them a picture, you could show them exactly what you're talking about as you're talking about it. And how does this relate to Google Meet? You can share your screen while you're in this, and as you're talking, just like I am with you now, I can just be making notes and showing you exactly what I'm trying to explain. Here's another worksheet. You just go to your pen tool and that. There we go. And it kind of makes it a little bit more fun and interactive, and you're still able to connect with your students in a fun way. But I'm going to go back into my Google Meet and I'll show you exactly how that would play out. I would go to Present Now. I'm going to select to share a window. I am going to share this window. Okay, so I am sharing my window. It says you are presenting right here. And it's kind of confusing because my view hasn't changed because I'm showing you what I'm seeing. So my view didn't change. I'm going to go ahead and go to my Jamboard, and from here you can create a new frame. Now I'm going to show you how to install the extensions we've discussed. It's very easy. In your browser, type Chrome Store. And it's going to be the Chrome Web Store. Click there. And because I'm signed in to my YCUSD account, it automatically brings up YCUSD approved apps. So any that we discuss will be available here because we have approved them. The ones that we've discussed today, the most important is the attendance. And this is the one we've discussed. It has an apple and a check mark. So go ahead and click Add to Chrome. And go ahead and add extension. Okay. And you'll notice it popped up here just a second ago, and I'll show you how to fix that in just a minute. And then we also discussed Nod. Okay, we're going to add extension. Okay. And we discussed Grid View. And the one that is currently working is the Google Meet Grid View Fix, and it is green. So I'm going to add to Chrome. And remember, I said these things are always changing. If you find that one isn't working, feel free to come to the Chrome Web Store on your own and see what's available. One extension I did not get a chance to show you is called Push to Talk. And it has this adorable little monkey on it. So go ahead and just click Add to Chrome. And what that extension does is it allows you to push the spacebar when you're in a Google Meet to unmute yourself so that you don't have to find the unmute button and then remute yourself. Okay, we just installed all of those extensions, and the way you can view these is to go up to the three dots at the top of your Chrome browser and go to Settings. And then Extensions is right here. And here it will list all of the extensions that you currently have. So if you find you have an extension that is broken or that is causing you issues, you can come to this page and click Remove. So since we have all of these fancy new extensions, I'm going to launch a new Meet. And now you can see that our extensions have been installed. Here is the icon for the grid view. You'll need to go in and select your options. Here is our people menu, and I click on that, and sure enough, there is our attendance. And the first time you do this, you may need to log in with your account. Okay. And here is our nod. And push to talk. I am pushing on the spacebar and I am unmuted, and when I release the spacebar, I'm muted. That's awesome. Well, we've reached the end of our session, and I'd like to just go ahead and do a quick recap on what we learned today. We learned the basic functions of Google Meet. we learned how to create a meeting. We learned how to share your screen. We learned at least one awesome thing you can do while sharing your screen. And I showed you a bunch of really cool extensions. The extensions were Meet Attendance. This will take attendance for you whenever you click a button. Google Meet's Push to Talk, so you don't have to unmute yourself to talk. Nod for nonverbal communication. And Google Meet Grid View. I didn't really get a chance to show you what was so great about this extension, so I'll go ahead and show you now. The built-in Google Meet Grid View that is available only allows 16 people. The Grid View extension we discussed allows a lot more, so you'll be able to see your entire class on one page. I want to thank you so much for riding this Google Meet crazy train with me. I sincerely appreciate that you have chosen to spend your time with me, and I hope that you feel it was time well spent. On a completely serious and personal note, the work you are doing now is so important. You are in an unprecedented situation where you've had to pivot and adopt a completely new way to teach. Be brave, little toasters. Don't be afraid to try new things, ask questions, and collaborate. It's how we learn. Never underestimate the power of a little enthusiasm. If you're excited about it, they'll be excited about it.